Have you ever wondered what it feels like when Mother Nature declares war on 50 million people at once? Have you ever seen three winter disasters collide to create the kind of perfect storm that rewrites history books? Have you considered that while you're celebrating New Year's Eve tonight, December 31st, 2025, an atmospheric monster is awakening that will change everything about winter 2026? Have you ever experienced the most intense winter weather siege since the 1990s? Because that's exactly what's about to begin. Have you noticed that emergency managers in 6 states are mobilizing resources like they're preparing for war? Have you realized that this storm hitting the Midwest right now is just nature's way of saying you haven't seen anything yet? Have you ever heard atmospheric scientists use words like unprecedented and catastrophic to describe a weather pattern? Have you ever wanted to know exactly which cities will be buried tonight, why airports are entering panic mode, and when the East Coast bomb cyclone detonates? Have you ever wondered what separates families who survive winter disasters from those who become victims? Have you been paying attention because everything you thought you knew about this winter is about to be proven wrong? Have you ever heard meteorologists describe a pattern as the perfect storm scenario while it's actually happening? Have you got a moment to drop your city in the comments? Because what I'm about to tell you could save your life. Have you ever wondered if you live in the survival zone or the danger zone? The next 30 days will give you that answer. Have you seen the reports of people already trapped in their cars across the Midwest? This nightmare is just the prologue. Have you ever stared at radar showing the most dangerous winter weather pattern I've analyzed in my entire career? Have you witnessed Wisconsin getting absolutely destroyed by snow at 2 to 3 inches per hour? Rates that make rescue operations physically impossible? Have you heard that Milwaukee County's snow emergency declaration is just the first domino in a chain reaction of disasters over the next 48 hours? Have you processed that Chicago O'Hare's 400-plus flight cancellations are nothing compared to the aviation apocalypse that's coming? Have you ever experienced thunder snow? Michigan's Upper Peninsula is being terrorized by it right now. Nature's most vicious winter weapon. Have you ever been in thunder snow? Visibility drops to absolute zero in seconds, and that's when people disappear and emergency crews can't find them for hours. Have you ever heard of a bomb cyclone? This current storm is literally that, a meteorological bomb exploding in real time. Have you ever seen atmospheric pressure drop so rapidly that a storm actually strengthens as it moves, becoming more lethal by the hour? Have you prepared yourself for this reality? By 3 a.m. New Year's Day, blizzard conditions with 40 to 50 mile-per-hour winds will create life-threatening whiteout hellscapes across western Michigan. Have you ever seen wind speeds that can flip semi-trucks like toys and turn highways into killing fields? Have you changed your New Year's Eve travel plans yet? Interstate 94 from Chicago to Detroit is becoming a graveyard of stranded vehicles. Have you thought about the families who left home tonight for celebration and are now trapped in cars, fighting for survival on what should be the happiest night of the year? Have you considered that state police are conducting rescue after rescue right now, pulling terrified people from vehicles that became death traps in minutes? Have you been counting? Because this current hell on earth is only threat number 1 of 3 catastrophic events about to unfold. Have you ever imagined 3 to 4 feet of snow falling in a single event? That's what lake effect bands will dump tomorrow when this system moves east. Have I mentioned feet, not inches? Snow so apocalyptically deep it could erase entire neighborhoods. Have you ever experienced biblical snowfall? Towns downwind of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario are about to on New Year's Day. Have you checked if you live in Buffalo, Syracuse, or Watertown? You're in the crosshairs for snow that will crush buildings. Have you been watching the South? While this Midwest massacre unfolds, threat number 2 is organizing with evil intentions. Have you ever witnessed the birth of what will become the most dangerous East Coast storm in years? Have you ever seen 2 weather systems interact to create the textbook perfect storm scenario that meteorologists have recurring nightmares about? Have you ever wanted to watch a horror movie unfold in real-time weather data? Have you been tracking this timeline? By tomorrow evening, January 1st, low pressure develops across Texas and Louisiana with murderous intent. Have you realized this isn't just another harmless Gulf Coast rain event? This is the conception of a monster that will terrorize the eastern seaboard. Have you calculated that Arctic air currently freezing the Midwest will position itself perfectly along the East Coast by Thursday, creating an atmospheric nuclear bomb? Have you ever seen the collision of air masses that creates what forecasters call a perfect storm scenario? Have you ever wanted to witness the exact moment when atmospheric chaos is born? Have you braced yourself for this? Southern energy races northeast, collides with Arctic air, and detonates into a coastal bomb cyclone Friday morning. Have you ever tried to imagine 12 to 18 inches of snow obliterating Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston in just 24 hours? Have you grasped why the timing makes this truly evil? It strikes during Friday's morning commute on January 3rd. The first workday of 2026. Have you ever pictured 8 million people trapped trying to reach work in New York City during a blizzard, dropping 2 to 3 inches per hour? Have you imagined subway systems shutting down, bridges and tunnels closing, creating complete transportation paralysis for the first work week of the new year? Have you understood this isn't just massive inconvenience? This is a humanitarian catastrophe in motion. Have you canceled your weekend travel plans yet? Because you need to make backup plans right now. Have you considered that LaGuardia, JFK, Newark, and Logan airports could become completely non-functional Friday into Saturday? Have you calculated over 3,000 flights canceled, tens of thousands stranded during what should be a celebratory first weekend of 2026? Have you heard what terrifies emergency managers more than the storm itself? The aftermath that follows this monster's destruction. Have you ever lived through Arctic air that doesn't leave? It settles in like an occupying army, creating weeks of dangerous, life-threatening cold. Have you ever experienced wind chills of 20 to 30 degrees below zero? Have you ever had frostbite? That's what happens in 10 minutes or less in those conditions. Have you wondered why power companies are frantically pre-positioning repair crews? They know the devastating combination of heavy snow plus extreme cold. Have you ever lost power when it's 20 below zero? Power lines snap like twigs, transformers explode, people freeze in their homes. Have you been sitting down for this? Because the biggest shock is still coming. Have you heard about threat number 3 that could devastate 100 million Americans starting mid-January? Have you realized this third threat will make everything else look like a gentle spring shower? Have you ever seen a January pattern that defies all logic and reason? Have you ever stared at long-range models showing something so extreme I haven't witnessed it in over 15 years of forecasting? Have you heard of a sudden stratospheric warming event? It's like someone switching off the planetary heating system for the entire northern hemisphere. Have you ever considered that science fiction scenarios are happening 30 miles above your head right now? Have you ever heard of the polar vortex? That massive circulation of ultra-cold air over the North Pole that's about to break free? Have you ever imagined all that Arctic air normally locked over polar regions rushing south like a frozen tsunami of death? Have you ever lived through a pattern shift lasting weeks that completely rewrites the rules of winter survival? Have you marked your calendar? Starting January 15th, multiple waves of Arctic air will assault the United States. Have you prepared for each wave being colder than the last, each one triggering potentially massive snowstorms? Have you ever survived temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below normal across the eastern United States for weeks? Have you ever shivered through highs in single digits in New York, below zero in Chicago? Have you ever wondered if Atlanta, Nashville, and Louisville could handle their coldest temperatures in over a decade? Have you comprehended the most terrifying scenario? Arctic air colliding with an hyperactive southern jet stream. Have you watched the setup? The subtropical jet becoming a storm-generating machine just as Arctic air takes control. Have you visualized storm after storm developing in the Gulf, racing northeastward into that Arctic air like missiles? Have you ever witnessed explosive storm development that makes current weather look like child's play? Have you counted them? 3, 4, possibly 5 significant snowstorms during January, each more violent than the last. Have you understood why each storm grows stronger? Temperature contrasts become more extreme each time. Have you ever been buried under storms dropping 2 to 3 feet of snow from Virginia to Maine? Have you ever lived through storms that shut down entire regions for days, turning civilization into a frozen wasteland? Have you looked up your exact location? Because I need to tell you specifically what's coming for your area. Have you realized this pattern creates winter war zones, while other areas escape relatively unharmed? Have you checked your address? Anywhere from Chicago east to Boston, Atlanta north to Montreal? Have you started preparing for what could be the most intense, prolonged winter assault in over a decade? Have you been waiting for city-specific details? Let me break down your personal winter nightmare. Chicago! Have you prepared for multiple blizzards with temperatures plummeting to 20 below zero, cold enough to freeze water pipes and close schools for weeks? Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo. Have you stockpiled for relentless lake-effect snow starting New Year's Day that could bury you in seasonal totals by month's end? New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Have you calculated survival through multiple nor'easters, each dumping 12 to 24 inches and paralyzing I-95? Boston, Providence, Hartford. Have you accepted you're in the direct path of the most devastating storms? Individual events potentially burying you under 30-plus inches? Have you grasped what makes this pattern more terrifying than individual storms? Have you considered it's not just about snow, but about cold that refuses to leave? Have you ever lived somewhere where snow never melts between storms? Have you ever watched snow accumulate endlessly, building deeper and deeper through an entire month? Have you ever had your roof collapse under the crushing weight of accumulated snow? Have you ever gone hungry because delivery trucks can't navigate through feet of snow to restock stores? Have you ever watched grocery store shelves empty because supply chains collapse under winter's assault? Have you ever lost power when you need heat most desperately to survive? Have you ever shivered in darkness during rolling blackouts when outside temperatures could kill you? Have you realized I'm not trying to terrify you, but to transform you into a survivor? Have you ever learned exactly what separates survivors from victims during winter disasters? Have you altered your travel plans for the next 24 hours? You need alternative strategies immediately. Have you calculated that this current storm will devastate travel through January 2nd? Have you raced to stock emergency supplies before the masses realize what's approaching? Have you secured 2 weeks of non-perishable food that could mean life or death? Have you gathered water, batteries, flashlights, portable phone chargers? Have you acquired alternative heating sources that could save your life during power outages in sub-zero hell? Have you winterized your home and vehicles before it becomes too late? Have you checked furnaces, insulated pipes, installed winter tires before the pattern locks in? Have you realized once this pattern establishes dominance, emergency repairs become impossible? Have you committed to checking elderly neighbors and relatives who could freeze to death alone? Have you understood extreme cold as a silent killer of vulnerable populations? Have you dedicated yourself to staying informed as conditions shift from safe to lethal in hours? Have you accepted that morning safety can become evening death trap? Have you studied the timeline that could determine who lives and who dies? Have you memorized that timing means everything in disaster survival? Have you prepared for tonight through tomorrow when Midwest travel becomes suicidal? Have you braced for January 2nd and 3rd when the East Coast bomb cyclone births destruction? Have you steeled yourself for January 4th and 5th when Arctic air conquers the eastern United States? Have you fortified for January 6th through 14th, bringing dangerous cold and additional storm threats? Have you armed yourself for January 15th through 31st, the ultimate pattern shift with multiple major assaults? Have you acknowledged each phase brings unique survival challenges starting tonight? Have you committed to preparation that will carry you safely through this historic siege? Have you wondered whether I'm exaggerating the severity of what's coming? Have you considered trusting someone with over 15 years of life and death weather forecasting experience? Have you seen me track patterns that looked apocalyptic but dissolved into nothing? Have you also witnessed patterns that exceeded our most nightmarish predictions? Have you recognized this pattern exhibits every characteristic of the catastrophic variety? Have you studied atmospheric setups that represent textbook perfection for sustained winter warfare? Have you noted multiple computer models achieving unprecedented consensus that this is happening? Have you observed the first storm already performing exactly as our most dire predictions specified? Have you learned that when everything aligns in meteorology, denial becomes fatal? Have you calculated the risk of being correct and unprepared versus wrong and overprepared? Have you chosen overprepared survival over unprepared victimization? Have you noticed emergency management agencies treating this like warfare preparation? Have you observed FEMA deploying assets like they're expecting civilian casualties? Have you seen National Guard activation in 6 states as confirmation of impending disaster? Have you recognized power companies activating mutual aid as acceptance of widespread grid failure? Have you understood that when professionals prepare for catastrophe, civilians should too? Have you envisioned what triumph looks like during this winter siege? Have you pictured yourself warm and secure while others suffer outside this weekend? Have you imagined abundant food, charged devices, backup heat, while neighbors struggle? Have you seen yourself watching snow accumulate New Year's Day without fear? Have you achieved this through preparation, planning, taking warnings seriously? Have you chosen survivor status over victim status? Have you discovered beauty in preparation for nature's most violent displays? Have you connected with atmospheric power through respectful preparation? Have you balanced appreciation for winter storm beauty with respect for their lethality? Have you learned these events teach humility about human fragility? Have you discovered they also reveal human resilience through community cooperation? Have you chosen respect over fear for this potentially historic pattern? Have you prioritized preparation over panic for the challenges ahead? Have you considered this could become the winter event defining the entire 2020s decade? Have you realized this pattern could become the standard reference for future winters? Have you prepared to safely witness nature's most awe-inspiring power display? Have you committed to staying connected throughout this event for survival updates? Have you subscribed and activated notifications for potentially life-saving information? Have you secured daily updates as this pattern evolves over coming weeks? Have you arranged access to storm-specific forecast and critical safety information? Have you prepared to receive everything needed for New Year's survival and beyond? Have you provided your location for weekend-specific survival guidance? Have you shared this warning to potentially save lives threatened by tonight's assault? Have you joined the effort to maximize community preparation and survival? Have you connected to social media for real-time survival updates? Have you understood this transcends winter survival? This is preparation for climate reality. Have you accepted that extreme weather is becoming the new normal? Have you invested in skills and supplies that will serve future survival needs? Have you made trusting me with your safety the smartest decision tonight? Have you committed to serious preparation that could save your family? Have you chosen community mutual support over individual vulnerability? Have you prioritized safety, warmth, information through this historic weekend? Have you accepted this will be a winner for the history books? Have you chosen to face whatever comes next with experienced guidance? Have you watched the pieces fall into place as the pattern locks in? Have you prepared for January 2026 to become truly legendary? Have you decided to get ready right now? Happy New Year! And have you promised me you'll stay safe out there?